It is a quiet Sunday morning. The house is still. Your phone isn't vibrating with emails, and for the first time all week, there is absolutely nothing you have to do. You sit on the couch. You try to relax. Within minutes, your chest starts to tighten. A heavy, sinking feeling creeps into your stomach. Your breathing gets shallow, and your mind starts frantically scanning the room, looking for a task, a chore, a problem to solve. Because simply sitting there, simply existing without producing anything, feels dangerous. It feels like you are committing an invisible crime. You know that feeling, don't you? The crushing, suffocating guilt of allowing yourself to rest. Society has a name for people like you. They call you a workaholic. They call you an overachiever. They tell you that you just need to learn how to chill out, as if turning off your brain is as easy as flipping a switch. But they are wrong. You are not just a workaholic, and your absolute inability to rest is not a bad habit. It is a brilliant survival mechanism. To the rest of the world, you look like you have it all together. You are the strong one, the reliable one, the person everyone else goes to when the sky is falling, because they know you are Holita. You are highly functional. You pay the bills, you meet the deadlines, you manage the crisis, and you never miss a beat. You do not look like someone who is struggling. But underneath that impressive resume, underneath that fiercely stoic independence, you are exhausted. Deeply, profoundly exhausted. You are a high masker. You have learned how to carefully curate a version of yourself that the world applauds, while carrying a quiet, desperate heaviness that no one ever sees. And you feel like you can't stop. Because the moment you stop producing, the moment you drop the mask and sit in the silence becomes deafening. To understand why this happens, we have to look past the labels society has given you and look directly at your nervous system. Your brain is not broken. You are not deeply flawed. Your biological wiring is simply doing exactly what it was designed to do. It is trying to keep you safe. Right now, your nervous system is trapped in a chronic state of flight. When we hear about the fight or flight response, we usually picture someone running away from a physical threat. A predator in the woods, a burning building. But psychological flight looks very different. In adulthood, the flight trauma response looks like chronic business. It looks like overscheduling every minute of your day. It looks like an obsession with productivity and a relentless, punishing drive for perfection. Your nervous system is operating on a very simple, very tragic logic. If I keep moving, if I stay constantly busy, the pain cannot catch up to me. Stillness is terrifying for you. Because stillness is when the ghosts of your past get loud. You locked the painful memories and the feelings of inadequacy in the basement a long time ago. But the ghost still lives in your nervous system, rattling the pipes every time the house gets too quiet. When you stop moving, you are suddenly left alone with your thoughts. You are left alone with the terrifying, underlying anxiety that without your achievements, you are nothing. Where did that anxiety come from? To find out, we have to go back to the environment where your nervous system was developing. We have to look at the child you once were. People who cannot rest almost always share a specific, unhealed wound from childhood. Perhaps you were the unseen child. You grew up in a home where you were not celebrated simply for existing. You were ignored or brushed aside until you did something exceptional. You were only noticed, only praised, and only given affection when you achieved something tangible, when you got the perfect grades, when you won the award, when you made your parents look good to the outside world. To your developing nervous system, love wasn't a baseline right, it was a transaction. You learned, very early on, that you were only as valuable as your last accomplishment. You were taught that you are a human doing, not a human being. Your childhood taught you a devastating equation. If you aren't producing, you aren't worthy of love. And if you aren't worthy of love, you will be left behind. To a helpless child, abandonment means death. So your perfectionism and your endless, exhausting hustle, they aren't just ambition, they are an armor. A heavy, iron shield you built to ensure you would never be thrown away. Or perhaps you carry a different pain. Perhaps you were the parentified child. You had to grow up far too fast. You were not just a child in the room, you were the thermostat. You constantly read the emotional temperature of unpredictable, volatile, or absent adults, adjusting yourself to keep the house from catching fire. You were the Atlas child. You were holding up the sky so it wouldn't crush the people you loved. But no one ever stopped to ask how your tiny shoulders were doing. You learned that your only valid role in this world is to be useful, to fix everyone else's problems, to absorb the chaos and output stability. If you rest, if you drop the sky for even a single second, you believe everything around you will collapse, and it will be your fault. This is the hidden tragedy of your daily exhaustion. You are surviving a threat that is no longer in the room. The chaotic environment is gone. You are an adult now. The adults who demanded your perfection, or the people who relied on your premature maturity, are no longer dictating your actual physical survival. But your nervous system hasn't received the update. It is still running the old survival software in a safe environment. It still believes that if you take a nap, if you spend an entire day watching movies in your pajamas, if you simply allow yourself to exist without serving a productive purpose, you will lose your safety and your right to be loved. That is why the guilt hits you so hard, like a physical blow to the chest. That guilt is not your conscience telling you that you are lazy. That guilt is your inner child screaming, terrified that if you aren't being useful, someone is going to stop loving you. Let's go back to that house for a moment. I want you to picture the younger version of yourself. Maybe you are sitting on the edge of your bed, listening closely to the sounds in the hallway. You are listening to the heavy footsteps, the tone of a voice, the way a door clicks shut. You are gathering data. You are acting as the emotional thermostat for the entire house, trying to predict a storm before it hits. Or maybe you are sitting at the kitchen table, staring at a report card or a drawing, waiting for someone to look at you, to really look at you, and tell you that you are good. In those moments, your young, brilliant mind made a calculation. It realized that being just a child was not enough to guarantee your safety or your place in the family. So, you went to work. You forged a heavy suit of armor out of perfectionism, hyper-independence, and a relentless work ethic. You decided that you would become so useful, so accommodating, and so successful that no one could ever find a reason to discard you. And it worked. The armor kept you safe. It got you through the emotional battlefield of your childhood. It helped you build the life you have right now. You should be incredibly proud of that child. They did a brilliant job protecting you. But here is the heartbreaking paradox of your adult life. The war is over. You are no longer a helpless child trapped in that house. The unpredictable adults are no longer in charge of your survival. You are safe. But you are still walking around in peacetime, wearing 80 pounds of iron armor. And you are wondering why you are so exhausted. Every time you try to sit on the couch and do nothing, your nervous system panics, because it feels like you are taking off your armor in the middle of a war zone. Your brain is screaming, "What are you doing? Pick up a task, send an email, clean the kitchen. If we stop moving, we are vulnerable. I need you to hear this, and I need you to let it sink all the way into your bones. There is nothing wrong with you. You do not have a broken brain. You do not have a defective personality. You do not need to read another self-help book to learn how to fix your productivity issues. You are simply running outdated survival software in a safe environment. You are surviving a threat that is no longer in the room. So, how do you stop? How do you finally get some rest? But you have to stop fighting yourself. Do not hate your anxiety. Do not hate your inability to relax. The next time you sit down and that familiar guilt starts to crush your chest, I want you to literally place a hand over your heart. I want you to speak to your nervous system like you would speak to that terrified child in the hallway. Tell it, "Thank you. Thank you for keeping us safe. Thank you for working so hard. But we are adults now. We are safe. We can put this down. You do not have to tear down your entire fortress today. Healing is not about suddenly becoming a perfectly zen, carefree person overnight. That is a toxic illusion. Healing is a slow, quiet choice. It is the choice to slowly soften. It is the choice to lower the drawbridge, just an inch at a time, and realize that no enemies are rushing in. I am giving you a permission slip today. You are officially allowed to exist without producing anything. Your worth is not measured by how many items you crossed off your to-do list. Your value is not determined by how much heavy lifting you do for the people around you. You are allowed to take up space in this world simply by breathing. You are allowed to be inconvenient. You are allowed to be tired. You are allowed to leave the dishes in the sink and stare at the ceiling for an hour, and it does not make you a failure. It makes you human. You have spent your entire life holding up the sky for everyone else. It is time to step out from underneath it. The sky will not fall. I promise you, if you are lying in bed right now, or sitting in your car in the driveway, and these words made your chest feel a little bit lighter, I want you to know you are not alone. There is a whole community of us, exhausted from being the strong ones, slowly learning how to put the armor down. Leave a comment below. Tell me what your armor looks like. Let this be the place where you finally take the mask off, even just for a minute. Subscribe to the channel and stay with us. I make these videos for people like us, because you shouldn't have to carry the weight of the world all by yourself anymore. Take a deep breath. You are safe here. I will see you in the next one.